Welcome back, everybody. Today we're testing the new Storm Supernova. We're going to do this in 3 parts, so this is part 1. If you like what we do, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and check us out on Patreon. My first impressions, the Storm Supernova is a very clear relative to the original Nova with more strength. But question for me is, how does it compare to the big dog, the Proton Physix? Alright, let's get into it. We have a huge, tumbly, rolly core and a strong, solid cover. In the Nova review, I kind of alluded to some old school Mo-Rich reference when you look at the size of the core along with the high mass bias. And that strength means a ball that spools up quickly. It just wants to do its thing right away. So generically speaking, with such a formula, whatever length the cover creates, the core is spooling up. And sometimes they meet up effectively and make for a big move, and sometimes they fight each other and the ball could kind of run out of steam. For me, with the Supernova on this pattern, it was kind of 50-50. I felt like it fought itself quite a bit, but then did also carry quite well. Which was a bit of a surprise, seeing as how I kind of felt like I wasn't quite, driving through the pins as much. But most of the time, the move for me was quite smooth and even, pretty archy. So I didn't, I would say, really see that heavy turn at the transition I would see from many of the big Asyms. However, it did seem to impart good energy to the pins, as I said, and carry even the half pocket hits. I say to the pins, energy to the pins, because I really didn't see it through the pins. The 2000 surface also doesn't look very aggressive, and perhaps it might be a 3500 under scan, I don't know, but so really length wasn't much of an issue, but I didn't get that boom either. I got like I said, a pretty smooth arc. I want to spend a little time comparing it to the Proton Physix, as theoretically they both should be strong defined balls, at least on paper. They have the same NEX solid cover with the same cover stock finish from the factory. They have about the same RG and about the same differential. Only difference I would say is the mass bias is a little higher on the Supernova. Obviously there's some shape differences to the core itself. I feel like the atomic core is sometimes a bit particular in terms of bowler style and effectiveness. In a way, I feel like the ignition core may be a little more generic or consistent from bowler to bowler. However, as you'll see here, the Proton Physix is an intensely different experience and ball for me. The Proton revs up and explodes to the right. It's like the ignition core has kind of started already, so the move doesn't feel anywhere near as aggressive. I mean, honestly, I came into this thinking about whether the Supernova intended to replace the Proton or not. For me, there are more complements than replacements. It's to the point where the Proton Physix is a clear, strong, defined ball, where the Supernova is really a strong control based on how it rolls for me. Final thoughts, so rounding this out, pun intended, the Storm Supernova for me is a strong ball, yes. However, it simply isn't defined enough to fit in that slot in my bag, so I have to put it in a strong control. And if I were to keep it in my bag. Now, I will say that Supernova reminds me that a ball doesn't always fit the same category for each bowler. If you check out the other videos with Tyler and Brian, you'll see that it definitely fits somewhere else for them. Bottom line is, for me, it was a strong ball that isn't too hard to get to push down lane, which imparts a good amount of energy to the pins if I keep the angles on the closed side.